Welcome to At Home with Music. I'm Helene, and as you can see, I'm not in my usual place behind the keyboard, but it has been requested of me in the comment section to give you a quick update on how things are going here in Asheville, North Carolina, in the aftermath of, by the time it reached us, it was Tropical Storm Helene, and of course it caused tremendous devastation here. Now, my wife and I, we consider ourselves among the most fortunate. As you can see, I'm sitting here in my studio. We've got power, we've got internet, and because we're on a well system, we have water again. Many of our friends and neighbors do not have water, and some of them still do not have power. So we have been privileged to be able to help some folks out by giving them access to getting a nice hot shower, doing a little bit of laundry, maybe washing a dish or two. So once again, we are extremely fortunate. We did lose power for about 9-10 days. And because of that, our well pump was not working. And so we didn't have water either. But fortunately, we prepared for that eventuality, knowing the big storm was coming and that we would most likely lose power. So we stored up a bunch of water. My wife, who is an avid backpacker and camper, had all kinds of equipment that we used, and it was like camping out in our own darkened house. We had a camp stove, so we were able to cook. We had freeze-dried camping meals, so we were able to eat well. But eventually we had to leave because both of us need the internet for our work, obviously, especially my wife, who is a consultant to NOAA, the weather people. So we went down to our daughter's house and spent a little over a week there so that she was able to go back to work, and I, unfortunately, was flat on my back with the flu. And you might even be able to hear a little bit of congestion still. I'm still getting over it. Still kind of tired most of the time, but I'm definitely on the upswing. Anyway, because we live up on a mountain, we didn't get flooded, but we did have some significant damage to the forest in which we live. We are actually in the Pisgah National Forest. The winds were strong. They came through. They tore off the tops of a few trees, a couple of which landed in our driveway, but fortunately not on our house. So before we went down to our daughter's house, we spent a couple of days chopping up these giant treetops that landed in our driveway with the help of one of our neighbors who brought his chainsaw and cut up some of the bigger pieces. So now we've got enough firewood to last for the next couple of winters. Too bad we don't have a fireplace. But as I say, we consider ourselves so fortunate that we're basically up and running here, but there are so many here who have lost loved ones, sadly, who have lost their homes, their vehicles, and of course, the recovery is now in full swing. One of the members of our church posted this, I'm looking down here at my laptop, the phases of disaster. It was a handout that she sent. I thought this was pretty good. There's the pre-disaster phase, disasters with no warnings, and really we didn't have much warning about this tropical storm. We've never dealt with that kind of thing up here in Asheville. It can cause feelings of vulnerability, fear of the future, lack of security, loss of control. And then even if we had warning, it can cause feelings of guilt or shame for lack of preparation. And then you have the impact phase. That's phase number 2. Reactions can range from shock to panic, initial confusion and disbelief, followed by a focus on self-preservation and family protection. That's usually the shortest of the 6 phases. And then there's heroic phase. Many survivors exhibit adrenaline-induced rescue behavior, high activity, low productivity. Risk assessment may be impaired. There is a sense of altruism during this phase. Well, we certainly saw how people rallied around and helped each other. And now I believe we are in what is known as the honeymoon phase. Community building occurs. Disaster assistance is readily available. Our church has been distributing supplies to those in need, as have many churches and charitable organizations here in the Asheville area. And many people are now optimistic that things are going to return to normal. But then comes the disillusionment phase, which we may be in danger of entering. Stress and fatigue takes a toll. Optimism may turn into discouragement. And there may be a need for substance abuse services. Larger communities return to business as usual. But anyway, we will eventually get to that phase of reconstruction. That's phase number 6. Individuals and communities begin to assume responsibility for rebuilding their lives. People begin adjusting to new circumstances, and there is a recognition of growth and opportunity. Asheville has the unique opportunity now to rebuild, especially the water system, which was actually, even before the storm, was somewhat outdated and in danger of failure in certain areas. Now, they have no choice. They have got to rebuild the whole thing. And it's going to be rebuilt, I believe, stronger, more efficient, better able to serve the community. It's going to take some time. But even now, some of the downtown businesses in Asheville are up and running, even though they have to bring in water, and they have non-potable water available, water you can't drink, but you can use it to flush toilets and so on. And so the downtown area is coming back to life. And unfortunately, several of the outlying communities in the Appalachian region and the mountain towns, they face a long road ahead of rebuilding. But it will happen. We've learned that the North Carolinians, those mountain people, well, I'm one of the mountain people now too, I guess. They're strong, they're resilient, they're going to rebuild, but it's going to take a long time and a lot of work. There'll be ups and downs and times of discouragement and times of optimism, but I have no doubt that however long it takes, they're going to rebuild. Somebody also asked in the comments about the effect that Hurricane Milton had on us. Of course, it really did carve a path of destruction through Florida. We lived in Florida for 32 years, so we are very familiar with what hurricanes can do down there. We even had to evacuate a few times from various storms over the time that we lived in Florida. But they have a good governor. They're getting back on their feet. And actually, the hurricane had little to no effect for us up here in Asheville. And we are thankful for that. But we keep the people of Florida in our prayers. And if you believe in the power of prayer, I do hope that you will continue to pray for the people of Western North Carolina and also Georgia and Virginia and Tennessee. And I know I'm forgetting South Carolina. I mean, we were all, and Florida, all affected by this massive storm, Hurricane Helene. We just had the 1-2 punch, Helene and then Milton. So hopefully there'll be no more major hurricanes this hurricane season. We've got some colder weather coming. And so the need will be to provide ways to keep people warm out there that are still recovering and still having to find places to stay and so on. Anyway, just wanted to give you an update on how we're doing here in Asheville. I know many of you have expressed concern over me personally, my wife, and my fellow Ashevilleans and those in the surrounding communities. I really appreciate all your comments of concern and just wanting us to keep us in your thoughts and your prayers. And I just wanted to update you just briefly here on how we're doing. We're okay. We're going to recover. We continue to pray for those families who have suffered such tremendous loss. And I'm thankful that we're in a position to help people. And we're looking forward to those opportunities. So I'm still recovering from a rather nasty bout with the flu. You could probably hear it in my voice. But I've got some great plans for continuing the work of At Home with Music. I'm so grateful for so many people who have subscribed, even though I have been able to post regularly. And also a special thanks to my patrons on Patreon. If you still would like to support my work here at Home with Music when I get back next week to producing music-related videos, then I'll put the link in the description of this video where I'm just yapping at you here about everything that's going on. Anyway, thank you for your patience, and I look forward to getting back into a more regular routine, because I really enjoy what I'm doing here. I really have a lot that I want to share with you, and it just means a lot to me to have your support, to have you subscribe to the channel, support me on Patreon. So, Lord willing, we will just keep going as we continue to recover here from the effects of this devastating storm that came through. Anyway, that's about all I have to say at this point, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one, and we'll get back to some things music related. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.